Welcome to Cinema Bites. Your go-to for movie recaps in a flash, big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. Our movie begins in Los Angeles on a very hot summer day. Everyone goes to work and the day starts off very normally. In one part of the city, a group of protesters appears. They are objecting to the closure of the subway line, which is called the Red Line, because there isn't enough transportation for them to get to work, and other means of transportation are more expensive than the subway. One of the officials tries to convince them that it's very dangerous for them, and they won't be able to reopen it until its safety is confirmed. Elsewhere, we see Mike, who is the director of the city's emergency management. He's making breakfast for his daughter, who lives with him after his separation from her mother. They are getting their things ready to go on a camping trip together. But suddenly, a very strong earthquake surprises everyone. It lasts for a short time, and there are no casualties. At the city hospital, we see Dr. Kayla trying to save her patient from the effects of the earthquake. She manages to save him, and we go back to Mike, who, after the earthquake, decides to go to work and cancels his vacation. Kayla gets very upset and angry with him, but Mike doesn't care and calls the babysitter to come stay with his daughter, then heads to work. Elsewhere, the subway team confirms all lines are working and there's no damage. Then they start betting on the earthquake's epicenter, each one naming a country where they think the quake's center was. We return to Mike, who arrives at work. There, he sees on the subway surveillance camera that pipes are exploding. He quickly asks his team what's happening. Debbie tells him there was an explosion in a gas and water pipe. She tells him not to worry because she's sent a team there. But Mike insists on going himself to see the cause of the problem. At the site of the pipe explosion, the team leader waits for his team to exit the tunnel, but is shocked by the screams of one of them trying to get out, his body badly burned. The rest of the team dies. Mike arrives and asks the team leader what happened. He says the team entered an underground steam pocket, which caused their deaths. But there was no fire, explosion, or any kind of threat. Mike inspects the bodies himself and suspects the burns were caused by steam. He decides to go down and see for himself, but the team leader refuses, saying there's nothing down there but steam. After a while, the tunnel security officer arrives. Mike shows him the tunnel map and pinpoints the explosion site, which is in the area where the Red Line subway passes. He asks him to stop the line and close off the area until they can identify the cause of the explosion. But the official refuses, saying the tunnel walls are more than 5 meters of concrete, so there's no danger to the train. He tells Mike to relax and let everyone take responsibility for their own work. Mike calls Debbie, another member of his team, and decides to go down into the tunnel himself to see what happened. At the hospital, the only survivor of the explosion arrives. Dr. Kayla examines him and tells her colleague that his burns weren't caused by steam. Her colleague asks if she means methane gas, but Kayla says that's not the reason and she doesn't know what could have caused it. We return to Mike, who goes down into the tunnel with a worker. There, he tries to see where the workers' bodies were and is surprised to find steam coming out of a hole in the tunnel's concrete. The temperature is extremely high, and his device detects very high energy in the tunnel. Suddenly, the tunnel shakes more because of a subway train passing through the same area. A hole appears in the ground, releasing yellow, fire-like steam. The steam and temperature increase, so Mike and his colleague quickly get out and close the door behind them at the last moment. They exit the tunnel together. Mike tells Debbie to call the New York police to evacuate the entire area as quickly as possible, and also asks her to shut off all gas, water, and electricity lines because there's a gas leak and a spark of fire. But he doesn't really understand what the problem is. He says a biologist needs to come and confirm what's happening. Emily, the scientist, arrives and tries to analyze the situation. She tells Mike that the temperature of the lake in the tunnel area has risen 6 degrees in 12 hours. Mike says it's hot, so that could happen. But Emily tells him there must be a geological event underground to heat more than 1 million gallons of water by 6 degrees in 12 hours. Mike asks what kind of geological event could cause this. Emily says the continent sits on an ocean of molten rock that's been there for millions of years, and sometimes when cracks form for various reasons, magma can find its way through these cracks. Mike is shocked when he hears the word magma and is surprised it could exist in their city. Emily's friend tells a story about a farm incident in the 90s, where a farmer saw smoke leaking from underground and his farm caught fire. A week later, a volcanic explosion 1,000 meters high destroyed everything. Mike smiles at what he hears, but Emily reassures him it's just a possibility and nothing is certain. Mike thanks her and leaves, but Emily asks to go down with her friend to confirm what's under the ground. Mike refuses because of the danger, so Emily and her friend decide to go into the tunnel early the next morning before anyone is awake. At dawn, Emily and her friend go into the tunnel and take samples of everything they see to determine their origin. The The Red Line subway train, which is the closest to the tunnel, starts running. After a while, suddenly a very strong earthquake occurs, shaking all the houses and lasting a long time. The train is forced to stop quickly before the tunnel collapses on it. Underground, a gap opens in the tunnel and Emily's friend falls in, but Emily catches her at the last moment and tries to pull her out before she falls. Suddenly, fire erupts from the gap, burning Emily's friend, who screams from the heat. The fire rises higher and higher until it explodes, throwing Emily away from the gap with the force of the blast, but her friend dies underground, burned. The power goes out across the city because of the earthquake. Mike quickly leaves the house with his daughter to take her to the emergency building, but suddenly, in the middle of the road, all the manholes in the ground explode, and from it comes out steam that makes the temperature rise very quickly. At the moment Emily comes out of the tunnel, huge fireballs come out randomly, destroying cars and buildings, and everyone in the streets and houses is in danger. We go back to the red metro line, where the driver comes out to check on the people and tries to open the doors, but they are completely locked due to the power outage and also the intense air pressure outside the train at that time. Meanwhile, on the same road, Dr. Kayla appears as she heads to the hospital and suddenly finds a large number of fire trucks speeding by. She follows them to help the injured, but suddenly a fireball hits the fire trucks, causing them to overturn and block the road. Kayla narrowly avoids them at the last moment and quickly gets out to help the injured. Mike sees her, quickly gets out of his car to help, and finds out she's a doctor, so he gathers the injured for her. Because of the steam coming from everywhere, the sounds of buildings being destroyed, and explosions, the atmosphere is chaotic. But suddenly, a moment of silence falls. Suddenly, the ground shakes violently, and the glass of an entire building shatters from the tremor. Suddenly, volcanic lava erupts from underground, and the sea of fire begins to spread in the street until it reaches Mike's daughter's car. She quickly gets out and calls for her father, but suddenly the car catches fire, and Kelly is trapped between the lava and the flames. Her father jumps quickly to save her, climbing onto the car as the lava reaches its underside and slowly eats it away. Mike grabs his daughter from the car roof and manages to avoid the fire, but not before it burns her leg. He quickly takes her to the doctor, who is transporting the injured in her own car. She refuses at first, but Kayla tells him the burn is second degree and she must go to the hospital. Mike refuses, afraid for his daughter, so Kayla gives him her hospital ID for reassurance and tells him she knows he's in the emergency department, which is why she's here. Mike thanks her, says goodbye to his daughter, and starts thinking about how to stop the lava before it destroys the city and the whole country. After a while, Emily arrives and sees Mike trying to act. Before she can reach him, she sees a fireball coming her way, and everyone panics. But Emily stops them and asks them to keep their eyes on its direction until they can pinpoint it. After that, they all move away from each other and manage to avoid it. Emily goes to Mike, who tells her she was right. Then he asks the team, the paramedics, the police, and everyone there to push the bus in front of the lava to slow its flow a bit. They all push the bus together, then set fire to one side of the tires so that it flips toward the lava and forms a strong barrier. After they finish, Mike sees a homeless man sleeping under a tree. He quickly goes to save him with Emily, and when she hesitates to believe what they're doing, Mike saves the homeless man sleeping under the tree with Emily, and if she's still not convinced, he saves him anyway. Before they get back behind the barrier, a burning electric pole falls, trapping Mike and Emily between the lava and the fire. Mike asks the firefighters to lower their ladder. He puts the homeless man on the ladder and saves him with Emily. He remains stuck, but the fire catches the middle of the ladder. At the last moment, before their hands burn from the heat and their legs from the steam, they throw themselves onto a safe spot. At this time, on the red metro line, the driver reaches the last car and finds sparks at the tunnel entrance, not knowing what to do. Back to Emily, she tells Mike they have to get to the main eruption source to shut it down. Otherwise, the lava will keep coming out endlessly. The lava reaches the bus but doesn't stop there. Mike decides to dig into the ground to let the lava flow in, and the firefighters, police, paramedics, construction workers, and private contractors all gather to dig as fast as possible. Meanwhile, another official from the subway goes to check the safety of the red line. He enters the train with his team underground and is shocked to find everyone dead from the smoke. He asks his team to check their pulses and finds several in a coma. He rushes to find the driver and gets all the workers out of the train. Suddenly, a sea of lava appears underground, and before the team leader can get out, he sacrifices himself by jumping into the lava and throws the driver's body to his teammates as they watch him get engulfed by the lava before their eyes. At the hospital, Kelly, after being treated, sits with two young children to look after them. After a while, all the fire trucks in the city arrive, and the crisis and emergency teams show up, but there are only 40 cars. Mike thinks about building a barrier in front of the lava to redirect it elsewhere. Emily suggests gathering all the planes and fire trucks to spray water and ice on the lava at once to form a crust and freeze it, like what happens in Iceland. Mike agrees and starts arranging the barriers in a horseshoe shape, with everyone helping until the barrier is complete. The lava reaches the barrier line and the ambulances get ready. Everyone waits for the planes, and as soon as they arrive, they start spraying water and ice on the lava all at once. After 10 minutes of spraying, the lava actually freezes, and the whole city rejoices at the achievement, feeling the crisis is over. But Emily is the only one who knows the volcano's source is still active, so she asks Mike to go with her to find the eruption source. Using the devices in Emily's car, they locate the volcano's source underground. But Emily has no idea how to redirect or stop the volcano underground. From the volcano's direction, they realize it will be in the hospital area, where all the injured and Mike's daughter are gathered. Mike is shocked and freezes for a moment, unable to think, until an idea comes to him. He shows Emily and Debbie the subway map and points to the red metro line, under which the lava is flowing. Then he shows them the line's end intersection, where there is a water drain leading to the ocean. He asks everyone to prepare all the explosives they can, because he's going to collapse an entire building to redirect the volcano toward the ocean instead of the residential area. He has only 20 minutes to redirect the volcano to the ocean. The special forces start planting explosives everywhere in the building. The evacuation process began at the hospital. There, she brings food for the children with her. But when she returns, she finds that her child is not there. She realizes he left, so she rushes at the time when explosives are being planted. She keeps searching for the child until she exits the building. Suddenly, she sees everyone who was in the hospital rushing out quickly. We return to Michael, who is preparing all the explosives and getting ready for the detonation. Suddenly, he sees his daughter calling out to him and standing in front of the hospital. He asks those with him to stop the detonation and runs quickly to her. But he doesn't manage to get the message to the rest of the team, and the whole building explodes. Michael's plan succeeds, and the volcano is directed toward the ocean. It moves through the tunnels that Michael planned for it to go through. Emil goes to look for Michael and his daughter after the buildings collapse, until finally, after much effort, they manage to get into a safe tunnel. The city rejoices at the end of the disaster, which the city cooperated to solve and save millions. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get more new videos.